Hello students, this video will be helpful for you to gain some knowledge regarding Lotus Birth. Objectives: we are going to learn about introduction, definition, benefits, risks of Lotus Birth, recommendations for cord clamping, signs to seek medical attention in a Lotus Birth, how to care for placenta, points to remember during Lotus Birth. Introduction: Lotus birth is a practice of birthing the baby and the placenta and leaving the two attached until the cord falls off on its own. Anecdotally, this can take 3 to 10 days, though there's no research to prove it. Definition: Lotus birth or umbilical cord non-severance. So lotus birth is otherwise called as UCNS or umbilical cord non-severance. Is a practice of leaving umbilical cord uncut after childbirth so that the baby is left attached to the placenta until the cord naturally separates at the umbilicus. This usually occurs within 3 to 10 days after birth. The practice is performed mainly for spiritual purposes, including for perceived spiritual connection between placenta and the newborn. So in a spiritual purpose, if they are doing it, they consider that the placenta and the newborn as a single unit. Okay, because they have been attached inside the utero for about 9 months and they are derived from a single cell, right? The sperm and the ovum come together, they form an embryo, and that only give rise to placenta and the newborn. So both the placenta and the newborn are considered as a single unit. So this umbilical cord will naturally falls off at 3 to 10 days. A short lotus birth. So this is about the definition. Then we have the types, okay, where we have short lotus birth and a full lotus birth. Okay, in short lotus birth, it is when a naturally sealed cord, okay, the cord which is pumping blood, now it is sealed, is cut. So when it becomes sealed in 4 to 6 hours, it is clamped and cut after birth. That is called as a short lotus birth. A full lotus birth is when the cord is left to dry and naturally detaches itself from the baby's navel. So how the placenta, okay, how the lotus birth is being done. After the birth of the placenta is put in a container or a silk cloth bathed with the sea salt and rose petals and essential oils to prevent it from rotting. So placenta basically contains blood, right? So it is a blood tissue and there will be smell for the blood, okay? So to prevent it from rotting, they will put sea salt, rose petals and oil, essential oils. Once the placenta detaches, parents usually bury it under the tree. So after 3 to 10 days, if it detaches from the baby's navel, it will be buried under tree, released it to the sea, or in cases make placenta capsules to consume the nutrients and stem cells the placenta carries. Okay, so there is 3 ways the placenta will be disposed. By not clamping and cutting the umbilical cord and keeping it intact allows it for a greater transfer of iron and oxygen-rich blood to the newborn baby. After the birth, the placenta continues pumping from about 80 ml to 100 ml of nutritious blood and stem cells that are vital to the baby's health, thus allowing the baby to receive higher levels of iron, which prevents anemia. Benefits of lotus birth. For both term and preterm infancy, delayed cord clamping has been shown to increase hemoglobin level, improve iron stores over the first few months of life, improve red blood cell volume, improve circulation, decrease need for blood transfusion, decrease the risk of necrotizing enterocolitis and intraventricular hemorrhage. There is a slight increase in the risk of jaundice with the delayed clamping, cord clamping, but the benefits are considered to outweigh the risk. So these are the benefits of lotus birth. Risks of lotus birth. So what are the risks here? The lotus birth are extremely rare in practice in hospitals. So the RCOG, that is the Royal College of Obstetrician and Gynecologists, they say there is a chance for infection if the placenta is left for a period of time after birth. So this infection can consequently spread to baby also. The placenta is particularly prone to infection because it contains blood. At the post-delivery stage, it has no circulation and essential essentially it is considered as a dead tissue. So the RCOG strongly recommends that any baby that undergoing lotus birthing should be monitored very closely for infection. The other risk include jaundice that can cause abnormally high bilirubin and the polycythemia, which is an abnormally high percentage of red blood cells in the circulation. The case description about adverse medical conditions related to this praxis are emerging, indicating the severity of the potential complications. So still they are doing research on this non-severance of the umbilical cord. The World Health Organization does not support lotus birth. Instead, the WHO recommends a delayed cord clamping. Okay. So these are the other risks and complications because of the and why it is done. Okay, the lotus birth. So first is a death. In May 2020, the Coroner's Court of Victoria concluded that a baby died 16 hours after birth from sepsis in the setting of a lotus birth, which took place in 2017 at Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. The investigation identified that the most significant and severe risk factor for sepsis were vaginal seeding and lotus birth. So in the court itself, they decided and gave they gave the concluded, they came to a conclusion that the baby was died because of lotus birth 16 hours after birth. Okay, because of the sepsis due to the lotus birth. Next is the spiritual connection. Okay, so relation to nature. In animal world, what happens in the animal world? The placenta is usually consumed by the mother. For example, if you take a monkey or the gorilla, the placenta is consumed by the mother. This is called placentophagy. Primates have been observed to keep the placenta attached to the newborns for a longer period. Primatologist Jane Goodall, who was the first person to conduct long-term studies on chimpanzees in the wild, reported that they did not chew or cut their offspring's cord. Instead, they leave the umbilicus intact like many other monkeys. Even the chimpanzees, they leave the placenta attached to the child. Okay, other researchers report that the chimpanzees consume placenta after birth. Though the other mammals may sever their offspring's cord, they only do so after initial sensory reception, like unwinding of the cord, massage, cleaning, the thorough touch, and initiation of nursing. This has been observed to last at least 1 hour if left undisturbed. So this is about the umbilical cord non-severance in the animals. So next is the regarding the energy. Pseudoscientific proponents of lotus birth view the baby and the placenta as one cellular level, as they are from the same source, the egg and the sperm conceptex. They also assert the newborn and the placenta exist within the same quantum field, thus influencing various expression of quantum mechanics that influence health. They claim transfer of energy and cellular information continue to take place, moving gradually from the tissue of placenta to the baby during drying process. Scientists challenge this claim of a metaphysical dimension related to quantum mechanics. So basically, they consider this baby and the placenta as a single energy unit. Okay, because they are derived from a single cellular level. So there is a transfer of energy even after birth, and cellular information they continue to take place as the placenta is getting dried. Okay, so that is regarding the energy. Okay, what are the recommendations for cord clamping? Okay, according to American College of Obstetrician and Gynecologists, they recommend that waiting at least 30 to 60 seconds before clamping the cord. The World Health Organization recommends waiting for 1 to 3 minutes before cord clamping. The only case where delayed cord clamping is not recommended is if the infant is born in some kind of distress and needs immediate medical attention. Signs to seek medical attention. we have, what are the signs you have to go for the go to seek the medical attention is that in the lotus birth, if the baby has redness, warmth, swelling at or around the umbilical area, and the temperature is more than 100.4 degrees Celsius, poor feeding less than the schedule, like if the baby is between 24 to 48 hours, there should be at least 6 to 8 feedings and 2 urines and 2 stools. If the baby is between 48 to 3 days of life, at least 8 to 12 feedings per day and 3 urines and 3 stools. And if this schedule is not followed and it is less than the schedule, you have to seek the medical attention. And also, if the baby is sleeping more than usual, you have to wake up your baby for speed more than you do, then we have to seek the medical attention. How to care for the placenta? Okay, the placenta should be kept next to the baby to avoid unnecessary pulling on the cord. Lift, feed, and cuddle the baby carefully. Dress the baby loosely with clothing that opens at the front. There is not a specific way to preserve the placenta that is medically recommended. Some parents choose to leave the placenta to open air, and some prepare the placenta with salt or essential oil. Some store it in a placenta bag. Points to remember during lotus birth: you can still hold your baby right away after they are born. The placenta is usually birthed within 5 to 30 minutes after the delivery, and after the baby is born, and you will need a sterile place to catch and carry the placenta. You must still put your baby in a car seat if you drive, even with the placenta attached, and the placenta will slowly dry out and decay, and eventually the cord will fall off from your baby's tummy. The placenta will probably have a smell as blood sits stagnant. Some people report rubbing salts and herbs in the placenta as it dries out. Keeping the placenta attached is in no way a replacement for feeding your baby, because the baby is attached placenta, because the placenta is attached no longer to the mother. It does not provide nutrients to the baby. So if you think the placenta is still attached and the placenta will give energy for the baby, then you're wrong. You still have to feed your baby whenever the baby is hungry, and you still have to feed your baby. Newborns fed at least every 2 to 3 hours. Baby clothing will need to have an opening in the middle, so snap closures will be more helpful than zipper fronts. While you want to keep your baby clean, we do not know if it's safe or not to give your baby a bath with a lotus birth. Consider sponge baths while you wait for the placenta to detach. So these are the some of the tips you can remember during a lotus birth. So I hope you gain some knowledge and insights regarding lotus birth through this video. Thank you all.